Mark Rogers TV and SEC Breakdown talking Alabama football after the Crimson Tide hangs on to its #1 ranking with a 48-43 decision in Oxford. Bringing in Stephen M. Smith from Touchdown Alabama to help us with Bama's 3-game winning streak and moving on to Kent State this week at home. Stephen M., a bit of a costly win in regards to guys getting nicked up and even more than nicked up. So what do you know in regards to the injury report at this point?
As of right now, Mark, 5 guys got a little banged up from the game. Reuben Foster, bad leg cramp. He had to be carted off the field in the 4th quarter. He got some IV done, but hey, it's nothing too serious. Took a knee to the back of the head in the first half. Nothing too serious with him, showed no signs of concussion symptoms. Eddie Jackson has a bruised shin. He was seen with a walking boot on after the game, so nothing serious there. Jalen Hurts, after he got earholed by Marcus Haynes, has a sprained wrist, but was able to play through that, so he's fine. The only happens to be our Darius Stewart, who was Alabama's leading receiver going into the game. He's got a high knee sprain that he will miss a couple of weeks, according to Saban. They hope to have him back by the week of Arkansas, but he will definitely, more than likely, not play this weekend.
So as you know, Stephen, there are crazy games in college football all over the country every Saturday. This one was a crazy one as well. You had the momentum swings 3 different ways. You had the big Ole Miss lead, the big Alabama lead, and then the Rebels close and almost make it a game and almost get a fumble at midfield with a 5-point deficit in the closing seconds. So the reason I think this is significant, obviously, it's a tough SEC win. It's on the road. Jalen Hurts. Some people thought that he had faced adversity when he fumbled that first snap or that first exchange against USC in a 3-0 game. I don't consider that adversity, but down 24-3 on the road against what I would consider one of the 15 best teams in the country, that's adversity, and the entire team, but Jalen Hurts in particular, fought through it.
Jalen Hurts showed nothing but poise, toughness, a lot of character. Keep in mind, this is an 18-year-old kid that had to give up his senior prom and a lot of other things to come to Alabama and learn an offense under offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin and, of course, head coach Nick Saban. And it hurts to other players. All they can talk about is his leadership, his toughness, the fire that's about him. There were numerous shots of him on the sideline telling guys, hey, let's go. We're not out of it. We got a shot. Let's go. Let's be us. Let's do our thing. And fiery and that vocal, you don't see a lot of true freshmen like that, Mark. The average person, when you're down 24-3, it's tuck your head between your legs and kiss the world goodbye. That's the average MO. But for Jalen Hurts, he's in the face of these guys. He's breathing confidence. He's pumping energy. And if this kid gets ear-holed by Marcus Haynes, one of the better pass rushers in the SEC, he gets up and he still rushes for over 100 yards. He becomes the first quarterback since Tyler Watts, 2001, to both pass and rush for over 100 yards in a football game. So poise, toughness, and the camaraderie with this team pulled those guys through.
Yeah, he not only came back and played well in the game, but on that specific play, he got off the deck and chased down the play to the other end zone. So he played to the whistle on that particular play, even though the wrist was hurt and he got blindsided in that one. Damien Harris, obviously, another big game against a big opponent, about 140 yards against USC. He contributes just about the same against the Ole Miss Rebels. So he has obviously established himself as the guy.
Definitely the guy. Damien Harris has a lot of those Mark Ingram-esque qualities. And one of those that came out last week was just pure toughness and determination. Going back to that 67-yard run in the 3rd quarter, shaking off defenders. He's holding the ball high and tight. He's muscling for every yard, getting down the field. And not just that, Mark, the pass blocking. There was one play in the first quarter where he takes on an oncoming blitzer and gives Jalen Hurts time in the pocket to try to hit a wide open Hale Hentges in the end zone. Now, Jalen Hurts airmailed the throw, was a little bit nervous in making the throw, but you have to give a lot of credit to Damien Harris for sticking in there, getting that pass block, and providing an opportunity. Here's a guy in Harris that is 5th in the SEC in rushing, 327 yards and a touchdown on 36 carries. He's averaging 109 yards rushing a game. This is a guy that Bo Scarborough talking in the offseason, but Damien Harris has proven that he's just as talented, he's just as good, tends to flow better when Harris is in there.
For me, Stephen, Ole Miss hung in this game because of two basic reasons. One is that it's got a very freakishly athletic defense, very fast defense. Alabama tried to go wide a number of times on screen plays, especially in the first half, that never worked. And in the passing game, Ole Miss slings it around just about as well as anybody in the country. The trench play, though, for Alabama, offensively, imposing the will of the running game on the Ole Miss defense, and the pass rush against Chad Kelly was relentless. And to me, that's the difference in the game in regards to Alabama being a better football team than Ole Miss. It's along the offensive line and defensive line.
Not just those two, Mark, special teams. How about Eddie Jackson? Not a pick six this week, an 85-yard punt return touchdown. And here's a guy that, last year Alabama had Cyrus Jones, a defender position, but could also give you another element, another dimension to your game on special teams. Eddie is starting to fall right into that mold. You know what he gives you on defense as a safety, hard hits in space, exceptional tackler, can break on the ball well, record those interceptions, and on the punt return, follows the block, lets the wall set up, holds the ball, gets the vision, gets downfield, and scores a very crucial touchdown. Eddie Jackson, his third touchdown of the year, if I'm saying this correct, the second touchdown of the year for Eddie Jackson, but of his touches throughout his career, this is the third touchdown. So a very special playmaker Eddie Jackson is on that special teams 85-yard punt return touchdown. I agree. Offensive line imposing the will. Defensive line getting to Chad Kelly. Also, Bradley Bozeman, 3-star center, getting that fumble recovery from off Bo Scarborough at the end. All of those key factors. But Eddie Jackson on special teams, that was special.
All right, we've got one of those games where Alabama looks to clean things up, get the technique down, get the fundamentals down, hone in on a few things and button it up, get healthy against Kent State and Mr. Nick Saban, of course, for the second time, I believe, in just the last couple of seasons, giving his alma mater a payday as well. So what does Bama need to clean up on Saturday?
Number one, penalties. Had 4 penalties against USC, had 12 against Western Kentucky, had 9 against Ole Miss. They've got to clean up the false starts. They got to clean up the holdings. They got to clean up some of the pass interference calls, body up, be physical, but have silly penalties to get you behind the down and distance, allowing the opposition to rush your quarterback and create those negative plays. So cleaning up penalties, number one. Number two, getting more balance within the play calling. Lane Kiffin, a lot of screens, a lot of sweeps, a lot of quick plays that he's known for. But when you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts who's got the arm talent, and when you have the backs like Damien Harris, Scarborough, Josh Jacobs, B.J. Emmons, use the arm talent, stretch the field, and run the football. Don't have to be overly fancy. I think Kiffin the past couple of weeks has been overthinking things, and I think this is the week he goes back to stretch the field. Occasionally, if you see a jet sweep that can work, okay, but don't try to oversell it.
Yeah, you mentioned Joshua Jacobs. He gets his first few meaningful carries of the season in a big game and ripped off a 25-yarder when it was still very much a contested game, and I believe Bama was down at the time late in the first half. All right, so we got the game against Kent State, we got Kentucky, and then it really ramps up against the meat of the SEC West with a game against Tennessee in there as well. So Bama looking to get some things cleaned up to make the stretch drive toward the SEC Western Division Championship. Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama helping us sort out Bama's game against Kent State and beyond here. Stephen, we appreciate the time as always, sir.
Problem, Mark. Thank you.